Imagine your daily commute means plunging into darkness where the air could explode, or balancing on a steel beam 1,000 feet up, wind whipping all around you. For many Americans, this was just another day at work. These weren't just jobs, they were life-or-death gambles taken by people desperate or daring enough to risk everything. Today, we're diving into the deadliest professions in American history, where earning a living meant facing death head-on. If you're drawn to the strange, dark, and dangerous, you're in the right place. Before sunrise, coal miners in Appalachia descended into the earth, knowing each shift could be their last. The company owned their homes, their stores, and the very ground they worked, leaving them with little choice but to face the mine's dangers. Every descent was a gamble. A rickety cage dropped them into darkness, lit only by a flickering lamp. Coal dust filled the air, slowly suffocating them with black lung disease, but sudden death was always closer. Cave-ins and explosions haunted every shift. Methane gas, invisible and odorless, could turn a single spark into a deadly inferno. In the early 1900s, over 2,000 miners died each year. The Monongah disaster of 1907 killed at least 362 men and boys, the deadliest mining accident in U.S. history. For families above ground, the mine whistle was a sound of dread, often signaling tragedy. Bodies were sometimes unrecognizable, identified only by scraps of clothing or a pocket watch. These miners powered the nation's factories and trains, but paid with their health and lives. Safety regulations were nearly non-existent. Courage was their only shield. They dug the coal that fueled America, knowing every day could be their last. The price of progress was written in blood and blackened lungs. Their legacy is the foundation of modern industry, built on sacrifice. The mines were monsters, and the men who entered them were both brave and desperate. For them, a paycheck came with a constant shadow of death. The story of coal mining is a story of survival against impossible odds, and for many the mine was both a livelihood and a tomb. Deep in America's forests, loggers faced a daily battle with nature and death. Armed with axes and saws, they felled trees towering over 200 feet, never knowing which way a giant would fall. Widowmakers, falling branches and unpredictable trunks, could kill in an instant. Once down, logs had to be dragged out, often breaking free and crushing anything in their path. The river drive was deadliest. Men called river pigs danced across rolling logs in icy water, one slip away from being crushed or drowned. Logging camps were rough, isolated, and lawless. Injuries and fights were common, medical help rare. The work was relentless, the dangers constant. Even today, logging is among the deadliest jobs, but back then, it was pure survival. These men built America's towns and cities, risking everything for a paycheck. They faced nature's fury with grit and nerve, knowing every swing of the axe could be their last. The forests claimed many, but those who survived became legends. Logging was a test of strength, skill, and sheer willpower. The price of timber was often paid in lives. On Revolutionary War battlefields, artillery crews faced death from both sides, enemy fire and their own cannons. Each cannon required a team working in perfect sync, but one mistake could mean instant gruesome death. Misfires left live cannons that had to be carefully unloaded. Premature explosions tore men apart. Swabbing the barrel was critical. Miss an ember, and the next powder charge could ignite, incinerating the loader. Deafening blasts, flying shrapnel, and clouds of choking smoke were constant hazards. No ear protection, no safety gear, just discipline and nerves of steel. Artillerymen were prime targets, their cannons crucial to breaking enemy lines. Every shot was a gamble with fate. Their work shaped the outcome of battles, but the cost was staggering. For every cannon fired, lives hung in the balance. These men stood firm amid chaos, risking everything for independence. Theirs was a job of precision, teamwork, and unimaginable courage. The red glare of battle was both their legacy and their doom. In Vietnam, tunnel rats volunteered for missions most saw as certain death. Small, agile, and armed with just a pistol and flashlight, they crawled into pitch-black Viet Cong tunnels. Inside, they faced suffocating heat, booby traps, venomous snakes, and enemy fighters lurking in the dark. Every inch forward was a test of nerve. Tripwires, punji stakes, and hidden grenades waited in the shadows. The psychological strain was immense. Total isolation, claustrophobia, and the constant threat of ambush. A firefight underground was chaos, blinding muzzle flashes, deafening echoes, nowhere to hide. Tunnel rats mapped enemy networks, captured prisoners and planted explosives, all while knowing death could come from any direction. Most could only endure a few missions before the stress became overwhelming. They were volunteers in the truest sense, choosing the most terrifying battlefield imaginable. Their work was secret, their courage extraordinary. Few Americans knew what they faced below ground. The tunnels were tombs, and survival was never guaranteed. The tunnel rat's legacy is one of raw bravery in the darkest places of war. Before email, the Pony Express was America's fastest link, teenage riders racing nearly 2,000 miles across wild frontier. The job ad said it all: wanted, young, skinny, wiry fellows, orphans preferred. Riders galloped day and night, braving deserts, blizzards, wild animals, and hostile attacks. The route cut through dangerous territory. Many riders never made it home. Their only defense was speed and a revolver. If their horse fell, they ran on foot, mail pouch in hand. The pay was good, but the risks were higher. Exhaustion, isolation, and death were constant companions. The mail was sacred, the motto, "The mail must go through." For 18 months, these young men connected a divided nation, carrying news and hope across impossible distances. The Pony Express was short-lived, replaced by the telegraph, but its legend endures. It was a test of endurance, courage, and sheer willpower. Riders became heroes, racing against time and danger. They bridged a continent, one gallop at a time. The job was simple: ride fast or die trying. Their legacy is the mythic spirit of the American West. As cities soared skyward, ironworkers, many of them Mohawk, built America's skyline, balancing on narrow beams hundreds of feet above the streets. No harnesses, no nets, just nerves of steel and perfect balance. Every step was a gamble. A single slip meant certain death. Teams worked in unison, catching red-hot rivets tossed through the air and hammering them into place. The work was relentless: scorching summers, freezing winters, deafening noise, and constant danger. Newspapers reported that for every 10 stories built, one ironworker died. These men gave New York its iconic silhouette: Empire State, Chrysler, Rockefeller Center. They were professionals, proud of their craft, but always aware of the risks. The Skywalkers became legends, their brotherhood forged in the clouds. They built monuments that would last a century, but paid with their lives. Their courage shaped the modern city. The skyline is their memorial. They dared the heights so others could live and work below. Theirs was a legacy written in steel and sacrifice. From coal mines to skyscrapers, America was built by those who faced death every day. These jobs weren't just dangerous. They were the backbone of progress, paid for in blood and sweat. The comfort and safety we enjoy today came at a steep human cost. Their stories remind us of the courage and sacrifice behind every modern convenience. The legacy of these workers is all around us, in our cities, our power, our history. Which of these jobs would you never want to do? Let us know, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of the strange, dark, and dangerous.